Okay, everybody, the NFC and AFC championship games are here, and we have our picks and predictions for both games. Before we get into them, just want to say, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. As you can see right here, we are doing a $100 giveaway at 500 subscribers. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We will also be live streaming the games this weekend, so come on by, say what's up. It's always a good time. Last week, Brett went perfect in picks, 4-0. Everybody give him a round of applause. Great job, Brett. Woo, everybody give him a round of applause. Okay, yeah. I went 3-1, so, give me a round of applause, too. 3-1 is pretty good, right, guys? And if you remember going into last week, Brett and I were tied on picks over the course of the whole season. So Brett now has one up on me, but I'm coming back. I'm biting kneecaps off.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
I'm ready to go this week. Let's get right into the games. Bucs and Packers in Lambeau, 2 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. Remember, all the way back to week 5, the Bucs beat the brakes off of the Packers 38-10 in Tampa. But I've been saying all postseason long, you can't look at stuff that happened earlier in the season. Speaking of the Bucs, the Saints made the Bucs look like school children twice earlier in the season. And then the playoffs come around and the Bucs escort Drew Brees to the old folks home. So you can't look at stuff from earlier in the season. But even then, the Bucs laid out the blueprint on how you have to beat this Packers team. It's by forcing turnovers. The Packers turn the ball over less than any other team in the NFL. They only turn the ball over 11 times over the course of the entire season, and they only turn the ball over in 6 games. The record in those 6 games, 3-3. The record in the 11 games they didn't turn the ball over, 11-0. So you have to force turnovers. The Bucs forced the 5th most turnovers this season, and they forced 4 turnovers last week against the Saints. So they can do it, but they're going to have to force Rodgers to make mistakes, whether that be an interception, whether that be a fumble, or they're going to have to force Aaron Jones or one of the receivers to fumble. Whatever the case may be, they're going to have to force turnovers. And when we talk about this Packers offense, obviously it's the best offense in the NFL by almost any metric. They went up against the best defense in the NFL last week by every metric, and they absolutely embarrassed them. Whenever we think about this offense, we think about Aaron Rodgers, we think about Devontae Adams, we think about how high flying and how good the passing game is, but we also have to consider the running game. The Packers are 9-0 this season when they run for over 110 yards and 5-3 in games where they run for under 110 yards. So if you can stop the run, it's one less thing you have to worry about when going up against this offense, and you give yourself a pretty good chance to win. Obviously, the Bucs, the best running defense in the NFL, and they're getting Vita VA back, who is one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. So the Bucs do have a chance here. Speaking of running, the Bucs are going to have to run the ball successfully. The Packers only lost 3 times all season. In each of those 3 losses, they gave up over 140 yards on the ground. They went 1-3 in games where they gave up that number. The Bucs only hit the 140 mark 3 times all season, but they have been running the ball well in recent weeks. Leonard Fournette looks really good, so they're going to have to run the ball successfully. They're going to have to stop the run, which are things I think they're capable of doing. Now, the Bucs can't dilly-dally around like they've been prone to doing at times. They can't come out slow out the gates. This is a pretty mediocre first-half team. It's the best second-half team in the NFL, but I don't know if that's going to cut it. They're going to have to come out the gates firing. Of course, it's going to be cold. Everybody brings that up. I mean, Tom Brady spent 20 years in the cold, guys. Do you not remember? With all that being said, I have to take the Pack. I have to take Aaron Rodgers at home in Lambeau in January with a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I got the Packers 20-17 in sort of a slow, grinded out game. Brett has the Bucs, so this is the game we differ on. Let's get into the next game. Bills and Chiefs in Arrowhead. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, 2 of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL this season, going up against one another. Patrick Mahomes is playing. I've seen all the conspiracy theories from the Twitter doctors saying there's no possible way he could be playing right now. There is no possible way. I've done the research. By all accounts, Patrick Mahomes was like choked out. He didn't even hit his head on the ground. It wasn't a helmet-to-helmet hit. He got choked out during the hit. If you watch the replay, that looks like it's what happens. So Patrick Mahomes will be playing. That's good. It sounds like he'll be 100%. That's good for the Chiefs, obviously, not for the Bills. Remember, these 2 teams met all the way back in week 6. The Chiefs won 26-17. I know, like I've been saying, you got to throw all that stuff out, but the Chiefs did put the blueprint out there on how to beat this Bills team. They ran for 245 yards, the most they ran for all season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 160 yards, his career high so far. And it does sound like he might play this weekend, so that's something to keep an eye on. In fact, in 2 of the 3 Bills losses, they gave up over 200 yards on the ground. So you want to keep this Bills offense off the field, and you want to attack a weak point on defense, you're going to have to run the ball. Now, with that being said, the Bills' run defense has been much improved, really since like the week 10 mark. They went up against the Ravens last week and only gave up like 100 110 yards on the ground, I think, which is a decent amount, but for the Ravens, it's really not at all. So while we think about this Chiefs offense as being Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, it might be Clyde Edwards-Helaire and maybe even some Le'Veon Bell who get the job done this week. I don't know. Speaking of Travis Kelce, the Bills, they often struggle against tight ends. It's one of their weak points on defense as well. Kelce had 5 catches, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns when these two teams met all the way back in week 6. That's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, neither of these defenses are spectacular. I would say the Bills probably have a better defense, but their defense is pretty much going to have to play perfect. We're talking about a Chiefs game that really only lost once this entire season, and in that game, the Raiders played literally almost as perfectly as they could play, and they still almost lost. So Josh Allen can't have any weird turnovers. They're going to have to get the run game going somehow in order to keep this Chiefs offense off the field. I don't know how they're going to establish that. They haven't been able to do it all season long. I think it's going to come down to what defense makes the most plays. We know both of these offenses. We know what both of these offenses are capable of. We know what Josh Allen's capable of. We know what Patrick Mahomes is capable of. We know what Andy Reid offenses are capable of. We know what Sean McDermott offenses are capable of. This is a nice little fun matchup between, a teacher and a disciple. So we'll see. Ultimately, I have to go with the experience of the Chiefs. They've been here. This is their 3rd consecutive AFC championship game. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl last year. This Bills team, they're a great story. They're very talented. They're very young. And sometimes, think about the Chiefs 2 years ago. You got to lose big games like this before you could take that real next step forward. I think that's probably what happens this week. I got the Chiefs 37-34 in a shootout. I think it's going to be a good game. Brett has the Chiefs as well. Of course, Brett has never picked against the Chiefs ever in the 2-year history of this channel, so that's not changing now. So I got the Packers and the Chiefs. Brett has the Bucs and the Chiefs. Remember, we are going live on Sunday to watch the games. Come by, say what's up. It's always a good time. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Tell me who you think is going to win. Like the video. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Enjoy your weekend. Okay, goodbye. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and would like more content, click here or here to subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, click here or here to watch more videos. Isn't that right, Mr. Finney? Isn't that right?